Hey everyone, it's been a long time coming. Been about a year or so since I last posted a video. Some good news, some not so good news. But if you can tell, if you kind of look at some of the thumbnails from past videos, you can tell I'm pretty much the same as far as my weight is concerned. My physical capabilities pretty much went stagnant. Got busy with a lot of work projects. Golf just kind of went to the wayside. So here we are again, going to try this over. As always, thank you for watching. And if you want to come along with me on this journey again, we're going to give this another go to the best of my abilities. Now, there have been some things that I have progressed on. One of the things I want to talk about in this video is a brilliant concept known as Operation 36. It's hosted, or Operation 36 is a nationwide program, but only certain cities are kind of providing all the different opportunities that the program tries to implement. And luckily enough, in Tucson, the Operation 36, with a partnership with Tucson City Golf and the Tucson Golf Program, which are separate entities, which I found was really cool when I learned about it. They offer everything you could ask for a beginner golfer or somebody, in my instance, who's trying to regain his form as a golfer and have certain parameters that can be tracked and worked towards. So you can check out their website. There'll be a link in the description. But essentially, just a brief overview. You start at 25 yards from the center of the green, so sometimes you are 40 feet from the hole, depending on where the hole location is. And you have to get the ball in the hole for 9 holes at 36 strokes or better. So you start at 25 yards, and then 50 yards, and 100 yards, and then 150, and then 200. So your first 5 levels have specific yardages that you play towards. Now, there are exceptions to this, par threes being one of them. For example, a par three, if you're at level 5, for example, if there's a hole that's longer than 200 yards, then you play the one tee box ahead of it, which for the most of these tournaments are the white tees. But if it's under 200 yards but longer than 150, then you play the blue tees. So there's some changeability in that. But for the most part, they stick to the plan of this amount of yards distance from the hole, and you just got to go out there and shoot 36 or better. Given my skills, even though my short game is pretty terrible, I still managed to. A lot of hybrids, a lot of hybrids were used in some of these first ones just because I wanted to get through it, and it's more about just getting through it than it is actually playing real golf, which I guess is cheating myself maybe, but I didn't feel so at the time. It's all about getting the ball in the hole, and that's really what you learn with this program. If you're a new golfer, I encourage everyone to do it, whether even if you're an accomplished player, just so you can keep those feels and understand, getting the ball close to the hole. I mean, even if you do great, doesn't matter. Those fundamentals never go away. So level 1, no problem. Level 2, no problem. Level 3, and level 4, I actually did better with level 4 just because, that day I just happened to be, 150 yards is a very good yardage for me. Just, the standard driving range, I feel very confident that I can get the ball close. And I did. I wish I had footage of it, but, that's not something I want to burden people with yet. That's going to be coming soon. Level 5 is where I really started to struggle. Level 5 from 200 yards, because it's one of those yardages where I can still get the ball somewhat close to the hole, and there were instances where I did, hitting the green, being, 20, 25 feet from the hole in one shot. Regardless if it's a par 4 or par 5 is very good, even by tour standards. But the problem is that unless I was, on the times that I wasn't precise, ran into a lot of trouble, short game issues, My putting can still be pretty terrible. I still had, even on the day that I passed on the number, I still had two three putts. One of them was understandable. It was like a 40-foot swinger. The other one was just, I literally just shot it off 10 feet past the hole with a 20-foot, pretty makeable putt. But luckily, two crazy up and downs on 8 and 9 was enough to get me in on the number. So when I get started with this journey again, I'm going to be starting on level 6. And these are the times that I want to document. For some reason, I feel more confident with level 6 than I did with level 5. A couple reasons. One, so level 6 is kind of like a mix. So I played with some people that are in level 6. So in this instance, it's a range of yardages. And you essentially will play the red tees on every hole except specific holes. They will guide you to play from 250 in. And there's 3 holes, if I understand correctly, on the course that I usually do this at, which is a course I've played hundreds of times. Once again, probably not, the best way to, test myself as a golfer, because I've played, countless numbers of rounds, 9 and 18 holes, 36 hole days, you name it, on this golf course. But at the same time, familiarity just helps with confidence. And that's really what this is about. Not only getting myself improved physically, but just having confidence. And what better way to improve my confidence? I know I can do it. I passed my PAT on this golf course back in 2007 when I wasn't that much, smaller than, or about the same size that I am now. Just, 22 years old, and had a lot more flexibility back then. So I know I can do well at these stages, even though, I've had numerous rounds of 32, 31 sometimes on this 9 from the blue tees. That's all irrelevant now. It's about who I am now as an adult male pushing 40. And so we're going to document those things. Getting back to my point, though, sorry for a bit of a tangent there. But getting back to the point is I feel more confident here because when you're at 200 yards, you're pretty much just going for everything, right? You're just trying to get the ball as close to the hole as possible, which for right now, and as I'm developing, the feels and the athletic ability to hit wedge shots and to work on my short game, I can kind of hide that for a little bit at level 6 because my most comfortable spots are anywhere between 70 and 120 yards, maybe even upwards of 150 yards. So if I don't feel comfortable, if I feel more comfortable sitting, hey, if a hole's 300 yards, I can feel much more comfortable hitting my 2 hybrid and leaving myself, leaving myself 280, or sorry. Leaving myself 280 with that, that'd be funny. No, hitting like a 2 hybrid and leaving myself 110 or even 90 yards because I can make a full swing with, or a half swing with my pitching wedge, which is my preferred shot. Control the ball flight, control the spin, rather than having to get cute with like a 30-yard pitch. Even if I hit a great drive, it's just different ways to manage it. Now I know on the flip side of that, I could have done that when I was at 200 yards, but I don't know. It's just an ego thing, I guess. Like you don't want to just seem like a chump and have to constantly lay up from 200 yards out. Like that seems kind of silly too. So in this case, I feel like I have more choices, and on the 250 holes where I have to play from 250 out, then I'm not going to hit. I'm for sure not hitting driver there. I can choose. Do I want to be 10 yards off the green? Do I want to be 50 yards off the green? And I can make club choices. Do I want to be 100 out? Is this green and this whole location more receptive to me flying something farther and stop quicker? Like there's just all different kinds of nuances that I have in my favor from this yardage. So I feel confident there. It's when I start getting into areas where, especially the last 3 levels, obviously, if you're playing mostly a full-length golf course, 400-yard par 4s, I'm going to have some pop in my swing. I'm going to have to be able to be consistent. So that's where all the physical stuff of being, healthier and thinner and more flexible. So I'm going to have some help along the way. Over the course of the last year, really just in the last few months, I've kind of re-established myself as somebody within the golf community in my hometown, something that I haven't had in years. A couple things I've learned is number one, like it's a pretty small community, so there wasn't that many degrees of separation when I meet somebody that was an assistant pro at this course under this person, and oh, I happen to work with that person back then, and oh, do you know so and so? Yeah, and then you just keep, you know, undoing these layers and realizing that it's still a small community. I'm finding my way back into it. So I look forward to having opportunities to work with different people that are experts in their field, whether it be golf-based physical therapists, golf-based instructors, not so much from a technique standpoint, because as egotistical as it may sound, I feel very confident in my golf swing and from a technical standpoint. But things that I may not know, and we have all this scientific equipment, and I'm not going to go too crazy on it because I'm still very much a field player. But working with people like the gentleman over at Project Par, who has all the latest equipment and weight bearing, loading, and all that stuff. I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm just a golfer. But getting in the simulator with people like that, playing matches with good players, and that's all I really want to do. I don't feel like I'm in a position where I want to kind of find, because I think that's kind of insulting, right? Where you're like, oh, let me find somebody that shoots around X amount of scores to see if I can beat them and then work my way up. Like, I'd much rather just take a thrashing, as somebody that is a scratch player or better. I'd rather just take the beating, whether it's stroke play or match play, and then learn from that than have to find lesser opponents. It just doesn't feel good to say, because in reality, like golfers, like we all suck. It's just to what level do we suck? The guy that shoots 100, sucks a lot more than a guy that shoots 70. But even the guy that shoots 70, is going to have some complaints around the round sometimes. Like they're very rarely are they ever going to have like a perfect round. Those are only amongst even the best of the best, and even they may have something that they're not happy with. A par on a certain hole where they miss a 6-footer, but everything else went in, right? So that's where we are right now. I just wanted to hop on here just real quick, give a bit of an update. This is probably looking like we're going to be more in the 10 to 15 minute range on this video. But if you like this content, please consider hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I'm hoping by the next time we're here, we're either on an Op 36 round, where I'm recording every shot, or maybe even a match. Just something, maybe even some 2v2s. Like, I'm really excited with this network that I'm building, to see where we can take this, and hopefully, maybe there's some pro level events or some qualifiers by the time we get to the summer. If I can just stick with it and not fall on the wayside again, that I can look forward to. So I'm really excited about that. And so thank you for being on this journey. No plug for the book this time. You guys already know, Stitched, a novel. It's Christmas time. Hope you get a chance to check it out if you haven't. I've just got a great written review on Amazon that I'm really excited about. So if you want to check it out, you know where to find it. The description will be below. I guess that is a plug. So we'll just leave it at that. But we'll see you next time. And until then, I hope you're out there playing some golf if you're here in the South or the Southwest. And I hope you hit some stiff ones. So we'll see you next time.